like to nominate Commissioner Cindy Kessler to be President Pro Tem for our regular meeting.
I second.
Can we get a roll call on that, please?
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes. Okay, so again, the time is 6:21. It is March 24th. The regular meeting of the Vernon Hills Board of Park Commissioner is called to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Kessler,
Here.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Here.
Commissioner Senti,
Here.
Commissioner Robbins.
Here.
Okay, may we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first order is the omnibus vote agenda. Item under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the vote and voted on separately. Items on the agenda are minutes of the special board meeting February 24th, 2022, minutes of the regular board meeting February 24th, 2022, payables and payroll through March 24th, 2022, in the amount of $674,890.40. Could I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? And roll call.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins.
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler.
Yes. Then the financial reports for the period ending February 28, 2020. Are there any changes, Jessica, that need to be made? No changes, thank you. Next is welcome visitors. Oh my goodness, we have
A plethora.
room full. So is there anyone here wishing to address the board before? Okay. So the IAPD, we have some service awards. So the first one is going to be for the police department.
And if you want to join.
At the podium, please. Oh, no, this is a little scary. I actually have never felt more safe right now than right now.
I'd love to see her get handcuffed.
So, the Vernon Hills Police Department has been a very active supporter of the Vernon Hills Park District since the beginning. And the intra-municipal cooperation and collaboration has been an integral part for keeping our parks and facilities as safe as possible. Includes assisting with facilities and park safety processes, being a presence at our Safety Town program, collaborating on police events such as Veterans Fishing Derby and National Nights Out, and lending us police officers and participants at the cadet program as support of our programs and special events. We appreciate the support on calls regarding issues in our parks that officers have responded to and the cooperation to get them resolved. On behalf of the Illinois Association of Park Districts and the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association, we would like to present this Community Service Award to the Vernon Hills Police Department in recognition and appreciation of their countless support and services for the safety and enjoyment of the parks and recreation in Vernon Hills and the state of Illinois. We thank you very much.
I'll simply say on behalf of all the men and women at the police department, and these are the fine officers that really do the real police work for the community. It's great to be part of a community that has such strong partnerships, and the Park District has always been a big part of that. So we love serving. That's what we get up for every day, is just to help people in our community, and we know that's your mission as well. And so it really makes it a lot of fun to do it together. So thank you for this recognition, and we look forward to many, many more years of that partnership.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Can you get a picture with all the officers?
Sure.
Holding it? Like maybe
do
come
it.
in front?
Ready?
It's in front of the podium.
Oh, in front of the podium.
In front of the podium, good.
Yeah, so we can get them all.
One alone and one with us? Sure.
Just the chief and you guys. Don't
Yeah.
leave, Cheryl. Okay, so
Behind the dais.
can I get the board members? Yeah, why don't you guys, if you don't mind, come behind the dais? And then can have the board members stay, and then we'll get a picture. Yeah, stand next to Bruce. Yeah.
Oh, good, John, there's a ledge back there for you.
Thank you.
Fire guys better be taking notes.
Fire guys, get ready. Yeah. Is that all right, Cheryl?
I will put a few
Couple on the other. Haley, Chris, Slider. Who are we looking at? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next.
It's always second to the call, right?
The next award is for the Countryside Fire District.
Just read slow.
Read slow.
Slower.
Yeah.
It's just a dig on Charlie.
It's always back and forth.
All right, so the Countryside Fire District has been a collaborator and partner with the Vernon Hills Park District on so many different levels. Countryside has been a welcome tool that Vernon Hills Park District has utilized for fire safety training, educating child participants in Safety Town, assisting with CPR, first aid, AED training for staff, and as a sounding board for special events and facility safety processes. We welcome their continued efforts in keeping our community safe by offering Park District facilities and parks as a real-world training location for the Countryside Fire District, and as a local host for the Lake County, McHenry County Specialized Response Team. On behalf of the Illinois Association of Park Districts and the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association, we would like to present this Community Service Award to the Countryside Fire District in recognition and appreciation of the great service and collaboration for the advancement of parks and recreation in Vernon Hills and the state of Illinois. So now I guess you guys, y'all can.
So I just want to say a couple quick words.
Oh, yes,
too.
I'm sorry, yes,
That's
please.
okay. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, President Bruce Brown here, all the Countryside firefighters and members of the organization, I couldn't echo Chief Crease's words any better. Since I started here 23 years ago, and I've worked with so many of you, it's nice to be able to just have a question about community risk or a project or event going on in town, and just be able to collaborate, work together on all these things. So thank you for the partnership. We really appreciate it, and also look forward to many, many years forward working together. So thank you again.
All right, so we want to have them come behind?
Yeah, and the same line up there too that we did. Yeah.
So we want to get you together first.
Over here?
Yeah, stay right there and then we'll bring you up. Ron, make sure you get in there.
In front of the podium, like, please.
They don't need to find me.
I'm scared.
Don't mind you.
I got a good mind right now.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
thank you so much. Maybe a couple on the other side.
Go on the other, go on, buddy. Go on the other.
Squeeze it, squeeze it.
Hello.
Yeah.
I think this picture might be better than the
You can Facebook vote or something. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where are we at now?
Where are we at? Wow. Actually, take my glasses off.
The meeting can't go on.
Can't go on until I can see. Okay. All right, so next item is unfinished business, and we have none. So we're on to the reports and communication. So can I ask Cheryl Blumen to come up and Marketing Communication Manager?
Good evening, everyone. Our summer camp is in full swing. We had a postcard mailed to all of our Vernon Hills residents that were in our registration system for children ages 2 to 13. So they got a postcard announcing that our camp guide's on the website. And then our registration begins April 4th. It begins earlier than our summer guide. So it begins pretty soon, and we hope everybody will take a look at our website and see all of our day camp offerings. Our summer guide is in its final proofing stage. It will be going to our printer next week. The summer guide includes all of our day camps, all of what we call our specialty camps, which will be also our sport camps, all information about our Family Aquatic Center, and all of our summer special events and programs. So it's a big guide. It's going to be mailed to our Vernon Hills residents the week of April 12th, and registration begins April 26th. Just an update on our Lakeview Fitness website. We've been working with the staff over there. Our homepage design has been complete, and we're just working on all of our internal pages. Our district website has had a lot of activity over the past month. Mostly because we had our Family Aquatic Center splash sale. So a lot of people are going to the website, seeing what's happening at our pool this year. It's really exciting. We haven't been open fully in 2 years. We had all of our March special events. We had our summer day camp announcements, and then our summer day camp guide. So our sessions were up 21%, so that's big. So we'll see that a lot more. Whenever something is going on big in our website, it goes up and down, and I do follow it on Google Analytics to see what everybody's looking at. Also, our social media stays steady. Our follower count continues to grow. We're at a little bit over 7,700 followers as our audience. Through our Instagram and our Facebook, we had 3 events that really people were so interested in and had our most engagement. That was our Family Aquatic Center splash sale, our Jardinier class photos with our friendly firemen, and we also had our PALS program. They did the Ukraine donation program, and that was really engagement a lot for all 3 of those. I was going to talk about Easter events, but Tom's going to take that one over, so that is my report for the evening. If there's any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Next up, Park Superintendent James Kim.
Good evening. I just want to start with some general park comments and announcements. Our ponds and lakes are ice-free, efficient season is fast approaching. All of our bodies of water are under the authority of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. Conservation officers do regularly visit Little Bear, Big Bear Lake, and Century Park. Therefore, all of our fishing is permitted through Illinois DNR for everyone 16 and over. In addition, all of our bodies of water are catch and release. Seasonal restrooms are tentatively scheduled to be open the week of April 4th, weather depending. Staff will be taking next week to prepare and repair any of the restrooms for the 2022 season. Athletic fields, our staff will work to prepare athletic fields for use. We ask that groups and individuals refrain from creating footprints and depressions in our infield and our ball fields. Although the weather is nice, the ground is still somewhat just thawing and drying out. We also ask that people stay up for soccer and lacrosse fields until goals are secured and lines have been laid out for practices. I don't want to speak for the village, but we received word that the VHAC facility is not scheduled to be opened until April 4th for activities. The restrooms I can't speak to, usually it's about 2 weeks after that. Over at Grosse Pointe Tennis Courts, we're working with JSD Group. It's the same group that we work with over at Lashen. Put out a public bid for tennis court renovation at Grosse Pointe. We expect a bid award at the May board meeting, with the tentative construction start in June and completed by August. Just to note that $200,000 of this project is funded through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity via the capital bill that was introduced several years ago. The project is limited to the tennis courts, the court fencing, and the path leading to the tennis courts. Over at Grosse Pointe again, behind the ball field, staff removed many of the landscape beds in preparation for some trees. We are currently offering an opportunity for residents to adopt a tree at $150 plus additional funds for plaques as part of our tree memorial program. Because we eliminate so many beds, we thought we'd open it up to residents and see if anyone would want to participate in this revamping of the tree and bench memorial program. If there's any questions, just to contact myself. Lake County Stormwater and the CV Ditch Project. The Executive Director of Fujuru, myself, and Public Works Director Dave Brown have been attending some regular meetings with the Stormwater Management Commission. They have received several $1 million through DCEO to fund project to restore the CV Ditch all the way from downtown Mundelein to the dam over at the south end of Lake Charles. We're in the very infancy stages, so more talking points will come at future board meetings as they're released. And lastly, no decision to be made, but just something to put on people's radars for the board. We're looking to schedule a possible outdoor board meeting or a park chat. One possible location is Lake Charles. This would be to discuss Lake Charles Park and the Lake County Stormwater Project that will be starting up soon. In addition, we did receive another grant through the capital bill for a playground at Lashen Park, which we would like to schedule for sometime this fall to discuss with residents playground designs and then installation in the spring of 2023. So these are just some ideas I want to just throw out to the board for discussion at a later date. And that concludes my report. If there's any questions?
Any questions for Nick?
No, just more of a follow-up, because I know what James was referring to is we've kind of gotten away from doing a little bit of the park chats that we did a few years back, and we, last year we did a Hartman Park with the OSLAD grant, and that was more of just trying to get feedback from the neighbors about our project as a whole. But with Lake Charles, with plans to do potentially some significant renovation there, and then also the playground at Lashen. So we're going to work, James and I will work with the board in terms of selecting what we feel are maybe some good months, warmer months when we can get people out. And then obviously we'll be working with Cheryl and her team, from a marketing standpoint to get it out to the neighborhood so we can get, some input. But the Lashen playground was really, we never put anything in place. That was the village when they were talking about doing the demo of the Lashen Center. they had a number of residents that came to them with this idea or thought of, hey, can we put a playground in here? The closest playground is down at Hawthorne Club, and they can't really cross 45. So that's where I think this would be a good fit. And since it's it's a $250,000 grant, we got a good opportunity to build a nice little playground. Now that we don't have any infrastructure in place there at Lashen, so there's a lot of foundation work, drainage, that'll eat up a lot of that cost. So it's not gonna be this grandiose playground, but it'll fit in there nicely. And if you remember when we did the design for the pickleball and tennis court, we left that kind of fourth court that we didn't put back in. We left that green space available for this future playground. So, yeah.
My comment on that is that to see if there's a way to really entice people to come out. If there's anything we can try to maybe do a little bit differently. I feel like we go out, we have a whole thing, and we don't get as many participants as we probably want out there. So I'm not sure if there's just something new we can try.
I don't know,
So-
Tom, maybe we can get Benny's, we can do some free beer and wine out there.
Well, maybe not
Get some
that,
of
but
that.
maybe something in between that, just if there's
I
something.
know we would do like,
And Bobo.
Bubba's would bring some ice cream, and we'd do like hot dogs, and we kind of did like a little pre-picnic theme just to kind of, then people would come out, because it's like a dinner, if you will, if you gave them some chips and a hot dog and lemonade or something like that. I don't think you're gonna have as much of a problem with the Lake Charles group in terms of, because I think there's a lot of conversation there with some initial meetings we've had with James. Is really fields, his guys field a lot of questions with, what are you doing with, just some of the invasive product. And then, the village can assist with that too, because of all the work that they're doing with the SMC, the Stormwater Management Commission in the county, about some of just the cleanup in Lake Charles. I think people will be really in tune with what's going on with that. So, yeah,
Great.
but we'll look at that,
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Thank you, James. Next up, Recreation Superintendent, Tom Ritter, please.
Good evening. Ooh, light reflected that blinded me from it. Not on my report, but I did want to mention, next week is when we start the soft transition to returning to 5 classrooms at the Little Learners Childcare. So we're really excited about that. So next week is when we will move kids who are age appropriate up to the next levels, move them around to different classrooms, let the teachers adapt. And the following week, we'll be bringing quite a few people off, off our waiting lists. So really excited to have the full operation going very soon. So I did say I would mention the egg hunts. The good news is they're almost all full. So I apologize if anyone's interested in signing up. By the time this is seen, they'll probably be sold out. There's approximately 200 people signed up in the different age groups between Friday night's egg hunt, the flashlight, and then Saturday mornings for the younger kids. But this is our first time doing the doggy egg hunt. We have about 30 dogs signed up. I think about 50, so if there's any puppies that want to come on out, you're welcome to still sign up for that as well. It is a registration event, so please register in advance. And it is a leashed event. We talked about maybe fencing it, but we're gonna do it as a leashed event this first year. And that is on Saturday, April 9th at 9 o'clock in the morning over at Deer Path. Adult softball, we are offering men's, women's, and co-rec leagues. We have always had trouble getting women's leagues to go, even some of the co-rec, but we are offering all 3 levels. So if anyone's interested in any of those situations to register, the deadline is April 17th. Games are played over at the athletic complex. Applications registration packets are available at the Sullivan Center. They can contact Jay Bowman with any questions. Common thing we hear these days, we are looking for employees. So as summer approaches, seasonally, we're looking for lifeguards and pool attendants and camp counselors and camp directors. As we know, camp staff, there's a ratio of staff to students, or staff to participants. We have a lot of people that want to get in, and we don't have a lot of staff. We have to have limits. So the more people that want to work, the more kids we can accept. So we're looking forward to a more normal summer. A few years ago, we evolved from 4-week sessions of camp to 2-week sessions of camp started offering weekly sessions of camp, which was great for customers. They could pick whenever they wanted to go, and then COVID came and we restructured things. This year we're back to weekly options, so hopefully we have a nice warm summer with a lot of choices for people, and things stay the way they are. We're looking forward to summer of '22. Field trips are back. Kids swimming at the aquatic center is back. More of a normal operation. Quick reminder that next Thursday, the 31st of March, at close of business, 9 o'clock, that is when the lottery ends for the community garden. People who want to request a garden plot. We do have open registration that starts April 12th, but it's unlikely that there will be anything open. We will probably fill all the plots just from lottery. The week of April 4th is when people will be contacted from that lottery whether they received a spot. There's 36 plots at Century Park North. There's 30 at the boat dock location at Century Park, and there's 9 over at Hartman Park. This I put in here just because I have a feeling questions will come. We've been doing that Recycle-A-Rama event for more than 10 years. One of my favorite events, actually. I really enjoy that. It's electronic recycling. We collect lots and lots of electronics, as well as other things as well. We work with Swelco, the village, the township, the mall. I don't want to forget anybody. State representative, yes, thank you, Jeff. But the good news is that we don't need to do it anymore. There never was a place for people to drop off their electronics on a regular basis, and I can't speak for every town, but most communities in Lake County now have a year-round collection. The village of Vernon Hills has one at Public Works, and that's pretty common throughout. And so people are learning that, and they don't need to come to an event. So last time we did it in the fall was the first time we had a really low turnout, and selfishly I wanted it to keep going, but that's a good sign. So there will not be Recycle-A-Rama anymore. I'm sure the Swelco is a great organization that offers a lot of recycling events, so people are really into shredding their paper or donating their items. There are things throughout the community, but just this one's going away. Our Loop the Lakes 5K run and walk will take place on Saturday, April 30th over at Century Park. We're bringing this event back to one big event. Last year we broke it up into smaller pods of people just for social distancing. A good year is just under 200 participants usually, depends on the weather and things of that nature. So registration is currently open for that. Again, that's at 9 a.m. on April 30th. And finally, our craft beer event is back. It's going to be an outdoor event this time, May 21st. Usually it took place in February, but it's a May 21st event over at the Century Park South. That is a Saturday afternoon from 3 to 7, and we are partnering with Binny's, and we are expecting probably 20 different vendors. And the nicest change is that when we did it without Binny's, it was hard to get consistent participation from all the different beer vendors. So we relied heavily on volunteers to describe the product, and it was hard. And so to have the actual vendors come out and describe their product makes it much more interactive for our guests. So it should be a really nice event. It's $30. You can register now. The week of the event, it goes up to $35. And then finally, I just want to thank you guys for those presentations we just had. It's kind of been a vision of mine for the last few years, having the splash pad at that park. And then it kind of just got expedited with how things have been with COVID and staffing, and keep thinking about it for a few years, and to see the plans is really kind of nice. So thanks for being open to doing this. That's my report. Any questions?
Any questions? Yes.
Tom, you kind of alluded to it with the Recycle-A-Rama, but more in terms of the electronics. So really people aren't having as much trouble finding some place to recycle for paper shredding, because I feel like there's a few less options for that, but I know that usually did come from the state reps coordinating that. Is that going to end in this area too, or what options do our residents have? Because I felt like that line was also really pretty long in the past too. Maybe it also did just go away.
You're not wrong. I mean, I feel like each year we did the electronics, I almost felt like the balance shifted from electronics and shredding to more and more even, and almost at the end it was almost more shredding. Now, it takes a little longer, so that's a little deceiving. Sometimes you have to, people like to stop and see their stuff get shredded, and it takes a few minutes. They get a little backlogged. Where the electronics, we have so many volunteers, it's like throw it and go. But yes, that was definitely in demand. I can't say whether that demand has gotten better, worse, or the same, except to say there wasn't as much collection for that either the last time we did it.
Okay, so you're not aware of anything that the, any of our representatives are doing?
I'm not.
Thanks.
I just have one last question. For the beer tasting, are you having any music or any entertainment?
Yes, we will have entertainment and we'll have some food as well. So yeah, nice combination, not just sampling.
Great, great, thank you. All right, thanks, Don.
You're welcome.
Next up, facility manager, Lacey Vasquez.
Good evening. I'll start with our facility statistics. Our facility attendance for February 2022 was 5,440 visits. This equaled out to 631 unique visits, compared to 2,929 visits from February 2021. Active members as of the end of February 2022 totaled 1,803, compared to 1,057 in February 2021, and 2,310 members in 2020. This past weekend, we held our first Try Your Luck indoor triathlon. It was a small attendance, but it was really fun to see the participants. We did have one father-daughter duo that were participating together, so it was fun to watch the participants. Thank you to Direct Fitness Solutions, who was our sponsor, and Lucky Burger, who provided the gift cards for our two top winners for the two age groups. Our participants of Body Pump are excited to have a Friday Body Pump back. Megan Vasquez is an instructor who was a very popular instructor pre-COVID and hadn't come back yet, so this is her first time coming back this month since pre-COVID. Staff are also starting to plan for our outdoor classes. Today is not a very good example that the weather is turning, but it is. So everybody's getting excited about the classes coming back outside. This year we will have our tent set up in the front lot as opposed to the back lot as we prepare for construction traffic that will be taking up the back lot. We also have 3 classes from Felicia Calamari who are currently virtual, and in the beginning of April they're going to be coming back to in-person, and then as soon as the tent goes up they'll be going to outside classes. Back in January we started a new membership reward system called the 20 Club. So any of our members who visit the facility 20 times in the month enter the 20 Club. There's nothing that they need to do. We pull the reports every month, and they receive our 20 Club sticker. It's a big sticker that they receive for that first month that they enter the 20 Club, and we put up a star on our board in the hallway so they all get their recognition. And for each month that they reach that 20 visit mark, they get another sticker that they add onto that star. And we started adding prizes for people who get consecutive months in the 20 Club. So in April, we will be pulling one name from a raffle of people who have consecutive months in the 20 Club, and we will be giving away 2 tickets to this one winner for the craft beer tasting. So we will have an alternative prize in case our winner is under the age of 21. Just in case. On April 1st, we will have a Bring a Friend for Free Day, so we will be opening up the facility for anybody who wants to come into the facility. We're also going to double this up and bring back our Member Appreciation Day, so we will have snacks throughout the day for our members and the guests that will be visiting the facility. And then on the 16th of this month, Patty and I attended the Hawthorne Mall. They have indoor 5Ks in the colder months, and it was their last one before the mall goes under their big renovations. So Patty and I had a table at the facility, or at the mall, while they did their indoor 5K, and we were able to give away some free passes to the facility and some swag. So hopefully we'll get some new members out of that, and it was a nice opportunity to get back out into the community and see people that we haven't seen in a while, or some new faces. And that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
I have a question. So is the equipment still gonna sit in the back room and everyone's gonna be in the front working out when we're outdoors?
No, the pod? Or do you mean where the equipment is stored in the room and then the pod? No, it's all gonna get moved to that front lot.
Okay, okay.
So this 5K was in the mall, and they
Yeah.
ran 5K in circles in the,
They had to do the whole perimeter of, they had to walk into each little cove in the mall. So one lap around the mall is 1K, so they had to do 5 laps
Huh.
around the mall.
and how many people were at this event?
They said they had, I thought they said they had maybe 50 people registered. It didn't look like everybody showed up. So I think they probably had maybe like 30, 35 people there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Lacey.
Thank you.
Next up, Finance and HR Superintendent Jessica Mitchell, please.
Good evening. To begin with, for finance, in February, the district did not receive any money for property tax revenue, so we're still at the 99.35% that was collected before, no changes. However, we will have an update for you in March. And we are expecting property tax revenue. Capital expenditures for February were $20,679, and a breakdown is provided for you in the board report. As of February 28th, the district has $6,385,070 in cash and investments. Additionally, this month, the district is providing PRODERMA verification of our statement of values for fleet, mobile equipment, and buildings as an annual process for insurance valuations. Just to echo what Tom said, we are hiring for seasonal staff, so we hope that applicants will apply online at vhparkdistrict.org/jobs. And also, I just want to plug for personal trainers. We're in great need to fill those positions, and we do have opportunity for independent contractors for personal trainers as well. Also, I wanted to provide an update to you all about the local IQ childcare geofencing ad that we did for the full-time teaching position. That did end. The geofencing campaign, if you might recall, is the ad that popped up on phones when people were in a certain area that we designated and different locations that we picked for this ad campaign. And February 18th through February 27th, we delivered 16,000 impressions. So an impression is basically somebody who opens up the ad and takes a look at it. And then we had 29 clicks from there that people actually went to our website to look at the job application. February 27th through March 20th, which ended the campaign, we boosted up from 16,000 to 46,550 impressions, and we also boosted up to 92 clicks, which was a 20% click rate, and the national average is 0.05%. So based on the statistics that they provided for us, it did pretty well, but you know, as far as applicants and filling the positions are still open. But like Tom said, we're able to open up another classroom, so we're happy with that, but we are still looking to see if we can fill positions and just to better help out the teachers that we have currently. Also, I did mention, I believe last month, that we were doing a virtual job fair with Western Illinois University. That actually took place today, so I don't have any updates on how that did go, but it was taking place, and just to give you an idea, that was including video and audio virtual meetings with chat communication between our staff who were available, supervisors who were able to sign up, and students that were interested could sign up for 10-minute one-on-one meetings as well and learn more about the positions that we have open. So it's a great opportunity to kind of expand the way that we do market our positions and get in touch with you know, students that are actually still in school right now. The district is working with Haven Youth Family Services through a grant that they received to employ youth ages 16 to 24 years old. The collaborative effort will fill positions that are part-time and seasonal. Some that come to mind may include camp, PAL staff, or park staff. This is an opportunity for the district to potentially increase our applicant pool for these positions. And Haven and Family Services are encouraging LGBTQ plus youth and LGBTQ youth of color to apply based on the grant funding that they have. However, it's not segmented just to that population. they are not limited to, or they aren't limited to that population, and we aren't held to, if they apply for the position, that they're guaranteed a job. It's basically just going to be more applicants that we have that we wouldn't have otherwise. But we will be working closely with Haven. They're gonna work with the students to get them ready through different types of trainings and interviews, and kind of prep them to work in the actual working field and an environment. And we are responsible for providing evaluations for them, an encouraging environment, and also developing them as young adults and young professionals. It also is exciting that will be a way for the district to expand with our DEI initiatives and our strategic efforts there. So we're excited to see what we can do to grow with Haven. Finally, in March, the leadership team, we write our department goals that are connected to the strategic plan, and then full-time staff will also individually write goals for their specific professional development. The goals are linked to evaluations, and those are beginning this month in March. Any questions?
Jessica, I would think that on our 6.4 million that we have invested, we should start seeing some increase in our interest generated.
I would hope so.
So with the Fed supposedly increasing their rates 6 times this year.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Next, Executive Director, Jeff Fruzier.
Okay, I want to start with, I know Cheryl mentioned earlier about the Ukraine humanitarian effort that one of our site directors from PALS, Maria, that runs our kindergarten program here, she was really the one who initiated the conversation with one of her parents. But through her efforts, through Anna, our rec supervisor, and Amy was heavily involved in just the coordinated effort. I mean, we filled a huge truck. If you went on our, Cassidy took some footage of it, and we're able to share that with the community, but it was overwhelming. And so just a strong thank you to our staff for what they did in pulling that together in just a few short days, and to all the staff and obviously our community that came out and supported it. I mean, it was constantly people bringing things in, so thank you. It was a great thing to do. Also wanted to, just a few things, I wanted to give you an update on the Lakeview project. So real quickly, Camosi and I have been talking over the last couple days. We're looking at an April 11th commencement. It's a little bit later than we expected, but most of that, what we're hearing is just product. They can't get things to get started. We were a little tardy in getting a response back on just permission with our permitting, but that's all been cleared, and that's kind of what delayed things. So that initial part is just going to be a lot of the staging and just implementation of excavation. James and Lacey and I will be meeting tomorrow morning with Tyler, who's their project manager from Camosi, and we'll be introduced to their site superintendent that's going to be working on our project. So we'll kind of walk through logistics of that. Right now we're hoping that things can stay on pace. The big part of this project is that swimming pool renovation, and so just keeping that on target. And I reminded some of you I've spoken to over the last day or two of we got this $500,000 grant through Senator Johnson for this dehumidification system, which is a rooftop unit that goes over the swimming pool area. And what we've heard from the vendor is that it's probably October before that would arrive. Now, from a positive, initially I was like, oh, this is not good, because we wanted to have that pool open in October. But James reminded me that we have an existing unit that still works, and so we gotta basically capture that, so that with any of the construction that's going on, we want to make sure that's secured on the rooftop and is able to potentially function. So if the pool does happen to get completed and we're ready to go in October, that we have this backup system that we can fire up and keep things operating. And so additionally, just from the swimming perspective, I've asked Lacey and her team to just remind people that we have use of Vernon Hills High School pool now with Robert, with Turtles, and that we have 8 swim lap lanes. And so if we needed to make a few lanes available for our membership to do lap swimming in the evening, that we could probably pull that off. So that's kind of a backup plan with that. We'll get more of a schedule probably in the next week or two that I'll make sure I keep you guys looped in with on that. On the agenda tonight, you do have the resolution for the board to adopt to display the tentative budget. So you still have time before our May board meeting before you would have the final approval and adoption. We have a public hearing scheduled for our budget and appropriations in early May. So the public just has an opportunity to review the document, look at the document. If they so desire, we'll have that available shortly. You also have closed session minutes. We're required by statute to bring that before the board every 6 months. There's nothing within the content of what we've given you tonight that requires the board to go into closed session. So we can adopt these recommendations before you. They have been reviewed by our attorney as well. And then the OSLAD grant that we applied for at Hartman Park, I gave you just an update on that they just don't have the field staff to come out and do live visits with us to walk the site. And so they've asked us to take photographs of our needs in our application and then do very descriptive writings in terms of why we need this or why we need that. And so we're working with Gaywald Hamilton is our consultant on this project, grant consultant. And so Cassidy was out with me last week and we took photos, well over 100 pictures. We turn those over to Gaywalt, and then their team will then take the photos, and they'll do things like they'll take a picture of the playground that's 22 years old and see some of the rust and some of the necessary things why we need to upgrade this. They'll take things within the detention area where we're looking to convert into a butterfly garden, why we need to the parking lots. If you go on into Hartman parking lots, they're absolutely horrific. And we just got to fix them. And so there's things like that that we want to address. They won't let us know until probably late summer, early fall, who the finalists are. And then once you're selected as a finalist, then you go down to Springfield and you have to present your case before a committee. And then they look at awarding you potentially at that point. There's $56 million worth of applicants that have put in money and ask, and there's only 28 million available. So there's twice as much ask than there is availability. So it's a competitive field. Now, for this year, and I know Janice sat in with me and Jessica and James at the legislative conference a couple weeks ago. They've allocated 56 million in this year's budget for OSLAD, which is fantastic if that, hopefully passes. So we've got another couple weeks in the General Assembly before they close session, and we'll hope that the governor doesn't look to cut any of that, and that'll give us a better pool of money. And so if for some reason Hartman doesn't make the cut this year, we'll just push that into the following year, we'll reapply. But we also have Grosse Pointe Park potentially on the docket to look at that and doing some master planning with that, with an OSLAD grant, which we can do too, if we needed to. So that's that. And then the budget, I know we were scheduled to have a budget workshop tonight. From the last workshop we did in February, and there were a handful of items. There was addressing the percentage of agency operations. I think Commissioner Robbins had asked about. We were about 51% funded through property tax and 49% through fees and charges. And so I did a quick survey of about 12 or 15 park districts, And you can see we're kind of right in that ballpark. Most are right in the middle of that range, right at about 50%, 50-50. Some are 40-60, some are higher than that in terms of reliancy on taxes. So that was one thing we provided. Then we gave you, at the budget workshop, we gave you the top 10 revenue sources for the district through programming, and then the board had asked for top 10 expenses. So we provided that document. There was also an inquiry about, Tom had, and the rec staff had a number of new programs that they were looking to introduce. And there was an inquiry, I think, again, from Commissioner Robbins about, what the net revenue would be from those. And so we provided that as well. We still have time before, if there's any, because I did, talk to some of you before the meeting, and if you still have some angst or concern about something that you want to address with me, I would suggest you do that within the next probably 7 to 10 days while this is on display, because when we get to April, it's pretty much the budget's done. And so I think it would behoove you that if you have any specific desired questions of any kind, to let me know, and then I'll be happy to, help you out with that. Lastly, just an update on Andrew Payne, our corporate counsel. I've talked with Andrew twice now this week. He's home. He's bedridden. He's going to be in a therapeutic bed till probably July in his home. He's got to recover. He only has use of his right arm right now, of his 4 limbs. So his left arm and left leg will, just through therapy and just through healing time, he's done well in terms of just the physicians and what they've seen from his healing. He has no cognitive issues. If you heard him on the phone, you would think he's just the same Andrew that you always talk to. He's still got a great sense of humor. He's really determined to get well. And then from July on, he is looking at probably going to the Rehabilitation Institute in Chicago, the RAC, which is one of the premier rehab facilities in the country. And he'll have a long road ahead of him. As you know, he had his lower right leg amputated. So he's gonna have to, he was very open with me about, I gotta get a prosthetic and I gotta learn to walk again. And he's just, he's doing well. I just gotta tell you, he's doing well. He's encouraging, all of our staff to call him or email him, and he tries his best to get back to us. He was very appreciative. I know the board and staff, we sent him well wishes, we sent him cards and plants, and many of you had sent him individual notes, and that's been really, really encouraging for him. But probably the best thing he said was just coming home and seeing his kids. He hadn't seen his kids while he was in the hospital for over a month, and that was just I think for him, that's just one of those overwhelming joys that, can be a great therapeutic lift for what he's got to go through, because it's pretty significant. So I just wanted to share with everybody, and that's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Jeff, a couple things. If this unit doesn't come in till after the pool is open, is it going to cost us more money to install it?
No.
Okay.
You want to speak to that, James, at all? I mean, you got a better understanding of just the...
There may be some logistical items, such as the demo contractor may have to come back, so they may ask for some more, but I can't foresee that being such a significant cost that we should open the pool up when we can and then shut down for 3 or 4 days for them to put the new unit in from a safety perspective and balance the system. So depending on what the contractor comes back and says to us, but I think it would be worth opening the pool if we can. October is just tentative. It could be pushed back another 30 days, like we've all been hearing.
And I'll just have to go through, there's just that one number on that 51% of, the one number, on the 51% of the real estate tax going to total budget? Is that right, to total revenues?
It's total operating.
Total operating, okay.
Yeah.
Because I came up with a number substantially lower, but I'll just have to review with you on that.
Yeah, you might have included capital in there, you might have included, even some investments in there. This is just operating, yeah,
Just that, okay.
yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jeff.
I can, at this point, because there's other business that should be here, I think it would be wise to bring in President Durhofer to take the dais so he can be actively put in and his attendance at 7:15 and let him vote on some of these other items. I think that would be important.
That would be great. How do we do this?
He just comes up and I lead
Go
him.
on up.
Yep.
And I knock some over on the way.
All right, so continuing on, Commissioner Committee reports and communication, there are none. Board correspondence, there are none. So we're on to new business. May I have a motion to approve the request from the Village of Vernon Hills for use of Century Park for July 4th and July 14th through the 17th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes.
May I have a motion to award the 2022 landscape bed maintenance contract to Balance Environments in the amount of $43,928?
So moved.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Just have just one quick comment. It scares me when I see an amount so much lower than the other two bids. We've worked with them before and
Yes, actually,
good reports.
yes,
and-
we've worked with Balance Environment several years past, prior to 2021. They know our parks, they know what we've removed, and this is a good price.
Yeah,
I feel
right.
comfortable with them.
And they're doing exactly the same thing as the other ones we're gonna be doing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did appreciate the breakdown, which was interesting, because we don't always get that. I don't know what page that is, but, where spring cleanup, the edging, weeding, post-emergent, pre-emergent, all of that. That even made the prices even a little more complicated. And so,
No, it's crazy.
it really is. I just find, I know you looked at it and that, you do this very carefully, but the swing in prices is even more surprising than the overall total number. And so I guess I want to be sure we're getting what we want in terms of which of each of these steps are as important as they need to be for us.
Yes, Balance Environment has been our contractor prior to this 2021. We cut about 15 to 18% of our beds from the last contract, so we were able to lower our budgets, mainly because a lot of our landscape beds were doing great, and after COVID, we decided not to spend 20, 30,000 on new beds and then adding more cost to the maintenance and just getting a pulse on the community on if they would even be missed. I have not received any phone calls. We've just turfed it. And so that's also a reduction in price. And every time we do go out to bid for landscape bed and mowing, we do have that contractor that's $100,000. And they usually leave pretty angry because they did something they shouldn't have, while everyone else is kind of more grouped together. This wasn't unusual for me to see. I thought more contractors would bid on this, but I don't know why they didn't.
Like weeding, I'll just pull out. I mean, it's a fifth or a sixth of the cost. So are we getting all the weeding we need with a person we're hiring? Because, that's quite a multiple.
It is. Now, the pre-emergence is very important that they put down.
Okay?
So if you look at that number,
Yeah.
it's, 4,000 isn't a lot, but if they put the pre-emergent down correctly, the weeding is not as necessary. So Balance Environment has got this down to very efficient with their crews, because they do win a lot of these bids for municipalities.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
Next up, may I have a motion to award the 2022 Little Big Bear Lake treatment to McLeod Aquatics in the amount of $23,900?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve the resolution 222 for display of tentative fiscal year 2022/23 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
Next up, semi-annual review, approval, and/or release of closed session meetings, minutes. May I have a motion to release closed session minutes of 12/9/2021 as they no longer require confidentiality treatment and will be available for public inspection?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
May I have a motion to withhold release of closed sessions minutes of 11/20/14 as the need for confidentiality still exists as to all of the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
I ask for a motion to destroy the audio tapes from closed sessions held on 6/25/20 and 7/23/20, having been determined by the board that appropriate minutes were recorded as approved, and the written minutes meet the requirements of the Open Meeting Act, and at least 18 months have passed since the meetings were held. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
Okay, on to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Sante, do you have any comments this evening?
Nope.
Commissioner Geraldo,
None.
Commissioner Robbins,
Nothing this evening.
Commissioner President Dorhoeffer.
Just my apologies for being so late.
And I have none this evening, so may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Kessler,
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins,
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Yes.
Commissioner Senti,
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.